What's going on, YouTube? Thanks for stopping by in this video. Before I get started, I'm going to make one thing clear, and that's that I'm going to be moving my vlogs mostly over to this new thing called IGTV. So this channel will be more focused on gaming and tech news. Now that that's out the way, let's get started with the video, which is going to be about what I believe Pokemon for the Nintendo Switch in 2019 needs to have. And these are 7 features that I personally, and I believe a lot of people may agree with me, that game needs to have in it. Now, for the first item on the list, it's going to be New Game Plus. Now, hear me out. New Game Plus should allow us to start a new game, but keep our Pokemon with their levels and our items. I love starting new games in Pokemon games, but it sucks when I have to lose limited run items such as Z Crystals or Mega Stones. They already let us essentially do this with Pokebank, except we have to pay for that. The downside of Pokebank is that we lose all held items that our Pokemon are holding, which means that we can't in any way, shape, form, or fashion, unless we're trading between different Pokemon games, keep our limited run items like our limited run Mega Stones and Z Crystals that were being handed out earlier in the year for previous games. Now with this New Game Plus, they don't have to let our Pokemon keep their levels. They can even restart them to their level 1 to start off with, as long as we can keep the evolutions and maybe even the moves. That would be pretty nice. But I would love to see a New Game Plus. That way I can start new games as much as I want and keep all the limited run items as long as I want. Because I'm sorry to say this, but the post-game material in Pokemon games typically aren't enough to hold me over. I typically like to start new games and try out different teams and different whatevers I want to do in said new game. But I'd also like the benefit of being able to carry over my Pokemon. And plus, this will probably make it a little easier to complete the Pokedex, because the first time you go through a game, because I'd like to be able to go through it again with, legendary Pokemon if I want. Kind of like how in the anime you'll see regular people with legendary Pokemon that are just taking on Pokemon leagues and whatnot, which I thought was always pretty cool and made them seem more special than I actually am as a trainer, and I want to feel more special than I actually am as a trainer. Well, I guess I'm already pretty special meeting these legendary Pokemon in the first place, but that's besides the point. I want a New Game Plus where I can continue my journey with my old Pokemon and my old Z Crystals and Mega Stones, at least the limited ones. You can get rid of the ones that are found in game naturally. Those can be reset, but the ones that you get from events should be carried over. Next item on the list, which is obviously going to be a long shot, is going to be multiple save slots. Now I can see how this can be bad for event Pokemon, because then that lets people have the opportunity to get more than one event Pokemon more easily when they're supposed to be very rare Pokemon. Now, yes, that would suck for people to be able to get more. It's going to definitely make it easier, but people already tend to get more than one because they have more than one copy of the games. For those people that are getting the dual versions, they can already get at least 2 copies of those Pokemon. But besides that, I'd love to be able to go through different adventures, trying out different teams and different methods and strategies. If we can't get a New Game Plus, I'd like a separate save file where I can go through the journey again with a different team or whatever I want. I guess one way they can circumvent the issue of people getting more than one event Pokemon is that they limit the event Pokemon to the Nintendo Switch or the game cartridge that's being used. That way people can't get more than one. It's just one per game cartridge or per Nintendo Switch. That'd be one way to circumvent it. But as I digress, I'd love multiple save slots. That'd be pretty fun. Next item on the list is going to be keeping following Pokemon, but giving an option to ride them or not. Lots of people love Pokemon Heart Gold, Soul Silver with their following Pokemon mechanics, and people are going to love how the Let's Go games are going to allow people to have their Pokemon travel behind them, as well with the added benefit of being able to ride said Pokemon. The problem is that certain Pokemon you'll be forced to ride all the time, and in my case, I don't feel like I'd want to ride them all the time every time I want them to be outside their Pokeball. Sometimes I just want them to follow behind me, So I would love them to give the option to either ride the ones that are able to be ridden or give the option to not ride them. to have them just follow. That to me would be an awesome choice for them to give people that want this feature. Give us the option to ride them or to just have them follow us. So next item on the list, and this is going to be short and sweet, keep the necessity for HMs at 0. Whether they keep the Pokemon ride system or do like previous games. I believe in Black and White they did this, where you just didn't need HM slaves or HM moves to continue through the story. Portions of the areas will just unlock after you complete certain sections of the story or get certain badges or whatnot. Just make sure that we don't need HMs anymore, because those, nobody likes those. Well, maybe very few people. It's like those commercials for DirecTV where people like weird things happening to them that aren't very pleasant, or people would find very pleasant happening to them. There are probably people like that, but in most people's cases, we hate HMs. Next item on the list, this is going to be something that they should keep from Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee, and that is going to be to keep the wild Pokemon seeable in the world. Now, as a longtime fan, longtime player, been playing since Red, Blue, Yellow, I have always wished that we could see the Pokemon in the world after, seeing those random ones in the world next to their trainers or whatever that can be interacted with. Once I saw that they're actually in the wild and you can go to them and, well, I guess catch them in those cases, not really battle them. But since they're going back to the old form in the next Pokemon game, you'll be able to have wild battles, I'm assuming. I feel like they should keep the wild Pokemon out in the wild so we can see who's out there, who's available, who's just wandering around, and we can pinpoint which Pokemon we actually want to encounter. And that'll make it easier for those shiny hunters or whatever EV, IVs, I don't know how all those things works, but just keep the option of seeing these Pokemon in the wild. I think that's an incredibly awesome feature that they introduced, and one that should stay. Even though I haven't played the games yet, I have a feeling that it's going to be an awesome feature that should stay. Next item on the list is going to be the ability to battle previous trainers again, like in the old games, such as Gold, Silver, Crystal, Heart Gold, Soul Silver. It was always awesome to go back and challenge these trainers again after they gave me a quick call and challenged me again. Made me really feel like I was their rival, and it was cool seeing them actually get stronger. They're not just people that you battled this one time and forgot about. They actually train and get stronger like you do so that they can hopefully finally beat you. And I think it's pretty awesome, especially since that it can help with your Pokedex as well, seeing their Pokemon evolve, because at times their Pokemon would evolve after they got stronger. And I thought that was such a cool thing to see their stronger and evolved Pokemon, and us being like their rival to them, and them wanting to finally beat us at some time or another after they trained a bit. So that's one thing I think they should bring back, is allowing us to challenge old trainers again, whether it be by the Pokegear system of them calling us or whatever, going back to talk to them again. I prefer the Pokegear phone call system. I know a lot of people didn't like it because, the infamous trainer Joey that always wants to call you and brag about his Rattata or Eradicate or whatever he has. But I didn't mind the system so much, especially since sometimes the trainers will offer you items and berries and such, which I thought was pretty cool. It made the trainers in the world feel a lot more alive, and it seems like that's the direction that Game Freak wants to take things, is to make the world feel more alive with the wild Pokemon roaming the world, able to be seen out in the wild and whatnot. They should give these trainers a chance to also improve on their own Pokemon and challenge us again, and have us go back and interact with them again, make them feel more alive, like they're actually part of the world. And I always felt like it just wasn't fair that they are battled and forgotten. They never improve, they never get better, they're just one time and done. And for the last item on the list, this is more of a wish than a need, but it's something that people are always asking for, and I'm sure you know what it is. It's in every video of whatever people make about what Pokemon needs to bring or bring back, and that's multiple regions. But I like to iterate on that. I'd like the second story to go with said second region. Something else going on, whether it be a different team from the past that's up to no good again, or the same team that we were just battling, assuming that there's another team this time around in this next main series Pokemon game that has a new plan to take advantage of the second region in some way or another. Now, it was incredible for Gold, Silver, Crystal, Heart Gold, and Soul Silver to have second region, to have us go back to Kanto. I'm not necessarily saying that we should go back to Kanto. We should be able to go back to maybe another different region, Sinnoh, I love Sinnoh or whatever. But we should be allowed to go back to another region and have another story to go with that region instead of just going through the region and being so boring, just going through the gyms and getting badges again and then going to the Pokemon League again. I feel like there should be another story going on with second region to make things more interesting, to add to the post-game story and post-game whatever's that we want to be able to do. I feel like that would be amazing, and that would add replayability, especially if, with new game pluses and multiple save slots. Having another story that coincides with the original would be amazing in a second region that we can revisit. So those are the things that I feel like Pokemon Switch in 2019 needs to have in the games to be an amazing game, to be the most amazing game that Game Freak could possibly make. Tell me if you agree down below. If you don't, let me know. Tell me down below what you think should be added to the Pokemon game next year. And if you enjoyed the video, make sure you give it a thumbs up or a like or whatever it is that you want to do. Subscribe to the channel, as I'll be talking about gaming, mostly Pokemon from here on out. And I hope you enjoy. Share the video and catch you later.